Hello everyone, welcome back to the little castle in rural Wales. If you don't know me, my name is Mok, this is my dog Chaucer, and you join us in our little Elizabethan castle here in rural Wales. Now this week, I have a countryside fest for you. I'm going to take you picking sweet peas with me and arranging them beautifully in a jar in the kitchen. I'm going to share with you some of the inspiration and the mood boards I put together about 4 years ago when I started to redesign the garden here, the 2 acres of garden. And we have our first Airbnb guest staying. Oh my goodness, that's so exciting. So I filmed just before they arrived, and then I filmed just after they've left. So I'm going to give you an insight into how I was feeling when they arrived, and then an insight to what happened and how I was feeling once they've left. So a beautiful episode today where I'm firmly rooted at home. I'm not traveling. It's just Chaucer and I and a couple of Airbnb guests and some beautiful summer flowers. So sit back, have a cup of tea, relax, and welcome to the little castle in rural Wales. Today is a really important day for me because it is the first day I get a visitor at my Airbnb. I have been converting the old stables into a holiday let for the last, oh God, now it seems like 47 years, but actually it's about 6 months. And I've done lots of work here, making a gorgeous new garden. And last night I put some lovely lights down to light the way down to the Airbnb. And I spent yesterday afternoon giving it a good clean. I'm going to go in now, give it a hoover, and then I am going to just dust down the outside. But I'm really hopeful that this means that in the coming months, I'll be able to cut back all my work in London, or the majority of my work in London, which means that by 2027, I'll actually be able to spend the night in my own bed, which I don't think is too much to ask. And when you live in such a glorious place as this, I really want to spend the entire week here. So, I've got a bit of hoovering to do, and I'm watering. You see, I'm watering the Airbnb because it gets really dry. I've got some lovely flower beds over here where I'm growing dahlias from the gorgeous dahlia beach. But unfortunately, I don't think I can water when the guests are here, and it's going to be in the 30s. So I'm getting it all watered this morning. Anyway, I've got to go in and do a bit of hoovering. I'm going to report back when they have left. So I'm going to jump to the future now, and I'm going to show you what it looks like when they have left. Our Airbnb guest, our first Airbnb guest, has just left. So I'm nervously making my way down to Stables Cottage to see what is there and also to check the guest book. So wish me luck. Oh my goodness. I'm quite nervous actually. I think I shared on a short this week on YouTube how important this is for me in terms of my future plans. So I hope this first one has gone well. I couldn't really sleep last night. I was so excited to find out how it went, but I'm about to share it with you now. So come on, let's find out. Let's turn the corner into Stables Cottage. So everything looks nice and tidy here. You know, you hear all these horror stories. Let's go in and see. Well, I have to say, this place looks pretty amazing. It has been cleaned by my Airbnb guest. Absolutely beautiful. Look! Oh my goodness. They've even stripped the bed. I can't believe that. They've washed everything up. There's nothing in the fridge. Nothing in the washing machine. Nothing in the dishwasher. Wow. Oh, guest book. Oh, what's it going to say? I hope they filled it in. Yes. Oh my goodness. Such a wonderful stay. So relaxing, immaculate little cottage with a high class touch. Amazing walks right on the doorstep. What a treat to be the first guests. We will definitely be back. Lisa and Colin and Hugo, the dog from Solihull. Oh my God. Oh, wow, that's amazing. I'm so happy. Yeah. So the new life is beginning to begin. I think I did something good, and I'm really pleased with that. Anyway, look at me. I'm a mess. I've got to get on with my day. I'm definitely going to remake the bed, make the bed, and just do a quick check around. But my goodness, I think they've done the most amazing clean for me. Thank you, Lisa and Colin, and little Hugo too. So I am here on the sofa, my new lovely sofa I got from Dunelm a couple of weeks ago. And I really got a whole load of William Morris going on, haven't I? But you know, you can't have too much William Morris as far as I'm concerned. But I wanted to sit with you and show you some of the mood boards that I put together a couple of years ago. But before I do, I know there's someone who wants to say hello. So Chaucer, come up here. Yes. He hasn't been in the video much this week. It's been really hot and he's been hiding upstairs in a darkened bedroom, quite happily enjoying himself up there. But when I started filming, he came down to see what was going on because, he's a bit of a celebrity tart and he likes being involved. Thank you if you are a member here, by the way. I really appreciate you. Do think about joining the membership. You just pay a small monthly fee and you get special videos. You get a long form video each month and you get a short video, a couple of those a week, where I take you behind the scenes at the castle. Chaucer, licking your legs there. Now, I wanted to show you some of the designs. Okay, and find yourself somewhere comfy to sit. He's on a Chesterfield. Some of the designs that my garden designer and I put together when we moved in here. The weeds were literally up to my height when we moved in. Some of the garden had really overgrown. And I had this view, although I'm in Wales, I had this view of kind of an English country garden. I'm not really allowed to say that out loud, but certainly a country garden, something that is befitting a small country house. It's only a couple of acres, it's not a grand estate and it's not a grand house, but I wanted it to feel really rooted in a beautiful garden. So the first thing that we did is we started to think of the sorts of flowers that I might like to have in here. So whether it is lupins, looking at gorgeous roses, looking at gorgeous kind of pinks and purples and whites. Those are the sorts of colour themes that I went through. Again, you can see here the inspiration. This is Sissinghurst, which is the home of Vita Sackville West, who was the lover of Virginia Woolf. And I have my own version of a white garden, which is in honour of Sissinghurst and Virginia and Vita, with my turret in the background. I'm really pleased with how that's going over the last couple of years. Now, what do you think about this? Some of the birds have, by mistake, sown in their poo some seeds that are no longer white flowers, and this year we've got a couple of other colours coming up in the white garden. Now, should I rip them out, maybe transplant them somewhere else in the garden, or should I let the bed evolve? Over the last years it's been absolutely pure white and there's an amazing hydrangea there. But what would you do? Would you let it evolve or would you keep it white? I'd love to know. And then this was my inspiration for the new stables garden, which is down to where my Airbnb is. Again, you can see my inspiration is very much around purples and blues and whites. Classic flowers. Lots of tulips in here. And in the spring, we have gorgeous tulips, lupins, irises. There are amazing irises in the front garden at the front of the house. And then we start looking at some of the topiary. Now, I have had varying success in the topiary. But we do have right at the front of the front kind of cottage part of the little castle, we have some beautiful topiary trees, and we have some agapanthus coming up there now. And then over near the turret, I have some more topiary. It's with yew. It hasn't been that successful. I think I'm going to have to really mulch it and put some soil improver. And my dahlias, whilst they were amazing last year, I had 30 or 40 dahlias. Oh, I decided not to lift them, and they really have suffered. So I've only got a few come up this year. I have planted some more, but it may have been too late. So I think I may be dahlia free this year, but you get the idea. I'm starting to build some topiary into the garden there. I do love a bit of topiary, but I think I need to get better. And then something again that I've incorporated into the stables garden are these silver birches. I absolutely love the idea of bringing in lots of different trees. You'll see this statue here, although we don't have a statue of a man, we've got a statue of the hare, which I love as well. And then again, finishing off there with some more beautiful roses and some really traditional country house garden flowers. I think it's really important to have some sort of view of where you want to go with a garden. Yes, it's fun to mess about and experiment, absolutely, and I always try things out. But having an end vision, knowing what you're looking for, whether it's a minimal garden, whether it's a gravel garden, whether it's going to be, you know, for me, like a country house garden, knowing exactly where you want the garden to head then allows you to make individual choices bed by bed. And my members last week, I taught them through this garden, Thenford, which is the garden of Michael and Anne Heseltine. You may not like his politics, but he created the most beautiful garden. And there are a couple of things in there, like the 5-bar gate, like the beautiful supports for the roses. I've got them for my sweet peas, like the alliums, and then finally the water feature. These things have really inspired me, and this garden really inspired me as well. This was kind of a bit of a mood board for my garden. And when I got this as a Christmas present many years ago, when I lived in Gloucestershire in a very small garden, I could only but dream that I'd have the 2 acres that I have now. But I worked hard and I manifested hard, and I was able to bring it to life. And I love to share it with you. Over the last year, I have created a new garden on the way to our holiday let. We're calling it the Stables Garden. It's currently a riot of purple and white flowers. And one of the things I'm really proud of are the sweet peas, but they have grown enormously, and there's lots of sweet pea flowers all over the climate. But I want to cut them today because the more you pick sweet peas, the more they keep coming back. So the idea is if I pick them now in July, I'll have sweet peas in August and September. So I have my chug, I have my secateurs. So let's go and pick some sweet peas. I think it's quite amazing to realise that none of this was here a year ago. Actually, not even 6 months ago. This area was just all mud. We didn't even have a path down to the stables. It was really churned up, not particularly attractive. I had tried to pop some wildflower seeds over there, but it was a bit touch and go whether or not they would grow. And now, honestly, I think this has become my absolute favourite part of the garden. Gardens are always evolving, and that's one of the things I'm learning. You have to wait, you have to have patience, you have to experiment, and you have to let it evolve. And my goodness, this, it was worth the wait. So this is the second of 3 huge climbing frames of sweet peas. And I'm only going to take a few of these because I'm going to send a note to my neighbour Mandy, who loves sweet peas, and say that she is welcome to come over and take lots from here. I want her to have a selection of sweet peas as well. So I'll only take a few, and then I will leave the rest for her. My goodness though, aren't they just so beautiful in their colour? I really wish that I could put them through the screen. Oh, and you could smell their amazing scent. They truly are absolutely glorious. Now, if you know of any way I can bottle this scent, I'd love to know. Is there a way? Because this perfume is so delicate, so glorious. Let me know if you know of any way that I can actually keep it. Is there a way I can prolong the smell? Can I put it in some sort of essence so perhaps I could wear? Imagine if I was able to wear scent from my garden. Oh my goodness, that would be very fancy indeed. I'd love that. So any advice, any tips? Oh, please leave me a comment and let me know. Right, I'm going to leave that there. I've got one more, which is really, really fiery red, and I'm going to go and pick some of those. So I didn't know that the sweet peas were going to be quite so red. I think sometimes nature serves you what you need rather than what you necessarily want. I think they're glorious now. I kept looking at them and thinking, oh no, I don't like those very much, but actually, oh, wow, I think they're quite special. Definitely. So I have a full trug of sweet peas here. I'm going to leave the rest for my neighbour Mandy to pick herself. Come along with me and I'll put them in a vase in the kitchen. Now, before I went out, I chose a couple of vases and filled them with water. I love these. They are, again, from Emma Bridgewater, which is a favourite designer of mine. And then you don't have to use a vase. I sometimes use jugs as well. Or if there's a particular mug or cup that I really like, I will sometimes fill that with flowers as well. So look at this. This is a coffee mug that I really like, and over on my kitchen table I filled it with pencils and pens. You don't necessarily need something particularly for it, just a utensil. Yeah, that works well. So these are going to decorate lots of different rooms here in the little castle, and I want to make sure that I have sufficient colour in each of the vases to make sure that it really represents the full rainbow and full spectrum of the sweet peas that I've grown. And I can't quite believe that. You know, I'm somebody who, I only started gardening really properly when I came here to live in Wales. Certainly before I moved to a slower country pace of life when I was in Gloucestershire. I used to leave every single Sunday night or Monday night after a day in my office in Cirencester, and then travel to London. And when I was in London, I might work there, or I might get on a plane, fly to America, fly up to Scotland, wherever I was needed that week for work. So the garden really was rather neglected. I did my best and I hired someone to help me, but really they were just a part-time gardener in a rather small plot. My garden in Gloucestershire, whilst I managed to make it beautiful, particularly in lockdown, it really wasn't very big. And so when I came here, I really had to learn, A, how to use space, I guess, because I've never had that kind of space in the past. And then B, how to plan pretty much from scratch. So I've been building flower beds here that didn't exist before. And now I think, now that I'm sort of 5 years in, I'm really beginning to see the fruits of my labour here. It's quite lovely to see all of the flower beds that didn't exist before now bursting forth with colour. And I'm particularly proud of the Stables flower bed this year. These sweet peas, oh, dropping them as I go, these sweet peas hopefully will flower for the entire summer. And maybe when you see my videos later on in the summer, you'll see me sitting in front of some sweet peas. I do hope so. And if you spot any of the sweet peas in the background, any of my videos, oh, do leave a comment. Do let me know that you've spotted them there. I'd love it, because I didn't think they were going to be quite so glorious as they are. I'm dropping them everywhere now. I'm just going to cut these so that they fit in the vase. I've noticed that my shears aren't as tight as I'd like them to be. There we go. Pop them in the vase. I could probably do better at flower arranging. I think they are rather magnificent. I'm really, really pleased. Oh, wow. Look at that. I grew those. So I think some definitely need to go here. You smell those, Chaucer? In the snug, where I have my tea at night and where Gladys made her presence known. One here, in front of my glorious William Morris sofa. And although I have an office upstairs, I often really like to work at this table here. So I think some flowers and some scent for me as I work from home. I think that's perfect. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe. I do videos every week of what's happening in my little castle here in rural Wales. And I want to do a big shout out to my members who pay a small fee every single month and really help support this channel. Your names are coming up now. Thank you. I know there's a couple of new members here, so thank you very much. Next week, I'll be back at the castle. I'll be sharing more shenanigans in the garden, and I'll be giving you an update on what's going on with painting the house and painting some radiators inside. But for now, from Chaucer and I, mwah, wherever you are and whoever you love, thank you for watching. We'll see you again next Saturday. Take care. Bye-bye.